it's time for Pole Position Raceway Live, featuring news and interviews from the world of motorsports and live racing, too. Here's the host of Pole Position Raceway Live, Paul Szmal.
And welcome to a brand new season of Pole Position Raceway Live here on our exclusive broadcast partner, Finger Lakes News Radio. And thanks to B2P Worldwide, a downloadable podcast that you can listen to at your leisure. You can also listen online live if you can't pick up our broadcast frequencies at FingerLakesDailyNews.com. We are at the Pole Position Raceway at the Marketplace Mall in Rochester as we begin another round of the Pole Position Raceway Live series. Back in the fall, we had an 8-week-long race series between our 3 Pole Position Raceway locations along the I-90 corridor in Buffalo at the Walden Galleria, here at the Marketplace Mall in Rochester, and at Destiny USA in Syracuse. Each Tuesday night, racers would compete and earn points for the right to go to the Upstate Championship, which was held here in Rochester last fall, and an Upstate champion was crowned. This time around, the same thing is happening, only it's a little bit of a shorter duration. It's actually 4 weeks of competitive racing at all 3 locations, and then we will have the finale coming up in week number 5. This time, the championship will be held at the Destiny USA Syracuse location. If you're unfamiliar with what Pole Position Raceway Live is all about, well, not only are we going to tell you about how great Pole Position Raceway is, where you can visit, and what you can do while you're there, we're also going to update you on the latest news from the world of motorsports, both on a national and a local level. And we have some great guests that are going to be joining us throughout the program. As a matter of fact, coming up a little bit later on in this hour, we'll be talking with the defending Super DIRTcar Series champion and the 2016 DIRTcar Nationals champion in Florida, Matt Sheppard. They'll be joining us in a little bit. Let's get to the news right now because the major series are all underway for the 2016 season. And, well, you may not have been crazy about the racing during the race, but that was one heck of a finish Sunday in the Sprint Cup event at Phoenix. Kevin Harvick and Carl Edwards having a good old-fashioned door-banging drag race off the final corner. Harvick winds up getting the win by 1/100th of a second, which, if you looked at the stop-motion slow-mos, was about a 4-inch margin. That's the 8th time that Harvick has won at the track, 5th time in 6 starts since joining Stewart-Haas Racing, driving the Jimmy John's Chevrolet. 32nd career victory for Kevin. Denny Hamlin coming home 3rd. Pole winner Kyle Busch, who led many of the early laps, was 4th, as Joe Gibbs Racing swept spots 2, 3, and 4. Dale Earnhardt Jr. started on the outside of the front row on the last restart in overtime, but faded to 5th. The rest of the top 10, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Chase Elliott, Austin Dillon, and Ryan Blaney. Now, how about that? 2 rookies finish in the top 10 at Phoenix. And Harvick is now your current point leader with Kyle Busch. Harvick holds the tiebreaker on the strength of his first victory of the season. Kyle, of course, the defending Sprint Cup Series champion, has yet to record a win in the Sprint Cup Series in 2016. Now, the Xfinity Series, that's a little bit different for Kyle. He led 175 of the 200 laps in Saturday's Xfinity Series race. His 9th victory in 20 starts at Phoenix, and his 3rd straight Xfinity Series win of the season. By the way, that 9th and 9 wins in 20 starts is the highest total number of wins by a single driver at an active Xfinity Series venue. The all-time single track record, by the way, was held by Mark Martin, who won 11 at the old Rockingham Speedway. The Joe Gibbs Racing organization started 1, 2, 3, and guess what? They finished 1, 2, 3. Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez were in the spots behind Kyle Busch at the finish. Suarez finishing 2nd and Jones finishing 3rd. Justin Allgaier about 14 seconds back and forth. That's how dominant those Gibbs cars were in the Xfinity Series. Meanwhile, Daniel Suarez has an 8-point lead over Elliott Sadler, who finished in 8th. By the way, Chase Elliott finished in 5th in the Xfinity Series race at Phoenix on Saturday. Both the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series go to the Auto Club Speedway in California for this weekend's competition. Meanwhile, in the Panhandle state of Florida, the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg opened up the Verizon IndyCar Series with Team Penske driver Juan Pablo Montoya kicking off a 50th anniversary celebration for Team Penske in style. as he picked up the win for the second straight year by about 2.33 seconds over teammate Simon Pagenaud. Andretti Autosport's Ryan Hunter-Reay was third. Helio Castroneves for Team Penske fourth. It was Montoya's 15th career Verizon IndyCar Series win. That ties him with Alex Zanardi in about the 31st spot on the career win chart. The 179th victory for Team Penske in Verizon IndyCar Series competition. And the 8th win for a Penske driver in the 13 races held on the temporary circuit at St. Petersburg. One driver missing from the Team Penske party was Will Power. He won the Verizon P1 award on March 12th, but then had a practice crash and was diagnosed with a mild concussion, and he elected not to race. He was replaced by Oriol Servia, who started last in the 22-car field and got involved in a mid-race multi-car pileup that took out Graham Rahal, among others. And, well, Graham didn't have many nice things to say about Carlos Munoz, who he felt triggered that whole chain reaction incident that literally involved about half the field at roughly the halfway point of the race. Now let's focus on some local and regional news. The DIRTcar series announcing that the Volusia Speedway Park's DIRTcar Nationals will kick off a week later in 2017. The event's going to shift and start on Valentine's Day, the 14th of February in 2017, and run through the 25th. That's 12 nights of doubleheader racing with the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars, the World of Outlaw Craftsman Late Models, plus the Super DIRTcar Series and DIRTcar Modifieds. Young modified sensation Anthony Perego took a gigantic step in his quest to move up in the Short Track Super Series South Region points. He won the 49-lap Melvin Joseph Memorial at the reopened Georgetown Speedway, which is being promoted by Brett Deo, who also promotes the Short Track Super Series. Last year, he finished second to champion Ryan Watt in the South Division. Perego's victory, his first win in the Short Track Super Series South region, second overall win in a Brett Dale promoted event. He picked up about $5,229 in prize money. Now, there's some racing that will be coming this weekend, not here in New York, but down in Pennsylvania, as the Ferris Mowers Race of Champions Dirt Modifieds kick off their 2016 season with a matinee event at the Selinsgrove Speedway in Pennsylvania, 40-lapper, $4,000 to win. Rain day for that, by the way, if needed, would be the following day. There'll also be practice for 360 and 410 sprint cars, super late models, pro stocks, and roadrunners. Unfortunately, this event has fallen victim to Mother Nature for the past 3 seasons. In the world of asphalt modified racing, things are a little sticky around these parts, I guess would be the best way to say it. You now have the Race of Champions being joined by the American Modified Pavement Series. Now, here's the timeline of how all this developed. Joe Skotnicki, who was a guest with us last season on Pole Position Raceway Live, he purchased the Race of Champions from its owner, Andrew Harpel. However, there have been some issues with some debt owed to some of the series sponsors and some of the racers. We're not going to delve into the specifics of that. What we will say is that the Race of Champions has signed Ferris Mowers as a sponsor, and they're going forward with their schedule for both the dirt and the pavement modifieds. And again, the dirt modified portion of that schedule kicks off this Saturday at Selinsgrove. In reaction to that, Chris Zacharias, former announcer, race promoter at Tioga Motorsports Park, and a longtime racer himself from a racing family that has a lot of heritage, has gone to American Racer and picked up money to start a series whose schedule was announced this past weekend at the Motorsports Expo in Syracuse. They're going to be going to 3 different tracks, all based in New York: Chemung, Spencer, and Holland, with the first race coming on May the 1st, which is a Sunday. The finale will be a 200-lap race at the Chemung Speedrome on October 2nd, which is traditionally the same weekend as the Outlaw 200 at the Fulton Speedway a week before Super Dirt Week. Also in the news, the Weedsport Speedway just put out information this past weekend that should be good news for those of you who can view MAV TV. 3 of the modified races this year at Weedsport, 2 of them being Super DIRTcar Series events, are going to be televised through a partnership between National Speed Sport News and MAV TV. Now, they've been partnering up on events from the Oswego Speedway and other places around the country for the past couple of years. Now, here are the TV dates. The July 24th ESS Big Block Modified Show. That modified race will be televised. The August 9th Hall of Fame Classic for the Super DIRTcar Series will be televised. And the September 17th Super DIRTcar Series event will be televised as well. Like I said, fantastic news if you can view MAV TV. Unfortunately, the heart of the Finger Lakes region, if you're a Time Warner cable customer, you can't get MAV TV. It's not even available on a premium tier. So you might want to call Time Warner and ask them about getting MAV TV on there if you want to watch those events from Weed Sport this summer. That's the latest news that we have. We're going to take a quick commercial time out here momentarily and then come back, and we'll be joined by Matt Sheppard. But first, let me tell you a little bit about Pole Position Raceway. If you're unfamiliar with what Pole Position Raceway is, there are 3 locations that you can visit. Again, Destiny USA in Syracuse, Marketplace Mall in Henrietta, and the Walden Galleria just south of Buffalo. What is Pole Position Raceway? It is indoor karting at its finest and fastest, and it's 100% green technology. These karts are not gas-powered. They're actually electric-powered. They can do speeds in their trim anywhere from 40 to 60 miles per hour, depending on the speed setting. Who can drive these cars? Well, anybody. There's smaller versions for junior racers that are roughly the same style and throttle response, but a little less powerful and a little small for junior racers to handle. And then there are the full-size karts that adults can race with. Now, each track has its own unique road course layout, and when you come to a pole position, you can walk in, buy a temporary license or buy a membership, and then go out and enjoy racing. You get 14 laps in a session, and the goal is not necessarily to be the first one across the finish line. If you're just coming in to drive, you're trying to set the fastest lap time. However, there are plenty of packages available where you could get a group of friends together and have a real racing experience, where you'd have a practice session, a qualifying session, and then in Pole Position Raceway terms, what's called a position race. You would call it just like a regular NASCAR Sprint Cup or an IndyCar race, where you line the field up, you drop the green flag, you run 14 laps, first one to the checkered flag wins. There's also birthday parties and other different corporate functions that can be utilized at a Pole Position Raceway facility. Each facility has a state-of-the-art conference room / party / banquet room with all the bells and whistles for sales presentations, corporate motivational events, things of that nature. A lot of companies are now doing holiday parties at Pole Position Raceway locations instead of just doing the standard dish to pass or ordering food at the office. Why? Because it's fun. If you want to check it out, go to polepositionraceway.com. That's polepositionraceway.com, and you can find out more information about the Pole Position Raceway location near you. Time for a commercial timeout. When we come back, we'll be joined by Super DIRTcar Series driver Matt Sheppard.
This is Pole Position Raceway Live.
McGuire's Move-In Metal in March sales event is going strong at all 8 McGuire locations. Come get once-a-year deals on every vehicle in stock, including our massive inventory of pre-owned vehicles and certified pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs from the 18 brands we sell. Every one is clearly marked with our upfront lowest Move-In Metal in March prices, so there's no need for stressful negotiations and never any sales pressure. And when you buy any pre-owned vehicle from McGuire, you buy with confidence, knowing every vehicle has passed a comprehensive 175-point mechanical and cosmetic inspection. Plus, you're covered with our exclusive 3-day money-back guarantee and a 30-day exchange policy. Don't love it? Simply return it. Decide to keep it, and you get our lifetime engine warranty at no additional charge. McGuire's Move-In Metal in March sales event is our biggest event of the year, and it's going on now at all 8 McGuire locations. But hurry, it all ends March 31st. The McGuire family of dealerships: Ithaca, Trumansburg, Watkins Glen, Syracuse, and quick as a click at McGuireCars.com.
Mr. Jackson, we're calling to say you're late on your credit card bill. Can you please call us to schedule a payment and avoid future late fees?
If you're getting collection calls from your credit card companies and you want to put a stop to it, gather your bills now and call the Debt Helpline.
Mr. Jackson, we've been trying to reach you. If we don't hear from you soon, your account will go into collections.
We can help you stop the late and over limit fees on most of your credit cards and reduce your high interest rates, in some cases up to 60%.
Mr. Jackson, this is our last warning call. The next call will be from our legal department.
Get your debt and credit card bills under control. Gather your bills and call today for a free consultation on how we can help you get out of debt. 800-709-4389. 800-709-4389. That's 800-709-4389.
Pole Position Raceway Live.
And welcome back to this week's edition of Pole Position Raceway, live here at the Pole Position Raceway in the Marketplace Szmal in Henrietta. And sitting alongside, I don't know, maybe I should just let you list the accomplishments, because I think I'd probably leave something out by accident. But I do know from my short-term memory that he did pick up the Gator in Florida. And by that I mean a trophy that actually looks like an alligator for winning the DIRTcar Nationals overall title at Volusia Speedway Park back in February. He's won more modified races than I can count on my fingers and toes, about 3 times over, and a bunch of championships all over the place too. And that would be Matt Sheppard joining us here on the program. How are you tonight, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. First question, how's married life treating you?
What's that?
How's married life treating you?
So far so good. At the Wayfair tonight, we'll chat a little while, and then I got to take her to dinner. I promised her dinner, so.
Well, there you go. And you guys had a spectacular wedding too. It was where was that? The Bahamas?
Cancun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We tried to do a destination to keep it small, and ended up with 80 of our closest friends at a destination wedding. So it was a lot of fun.
It became the Independent Republic of Sheppard.
Yeah, great time I had by all. Busy winter for us. Getting married, starting a race team off to Florida. It's definitely been busy, but it's been great so far.
I want to go all the way back to the very, very beginning with you. Do you remember the first race that you went to, how old you were, and where you went?
As a spectator or as a driver?
Well, let's go as a spectator. Your first exposure to dirt track racing.
I can remember sitting in the stands when I was just a baby, back when my dad was racing. I can't remember the exact year. I just remember being really, really little. And,
of course, if you're not familiar with it, Matt is the son of Stu Sheppard, who we used to call Stu the Shoe.
Yeah, he raced for a little while there and kind of gave up his racing career so I could get going. I believe I started in 1990, and I want to say 90 to 98, 8 years, somewhere in that ballpark.
Now, is that just locally, or did you bounce around and go all over the place?
We traveled a fair amount. We did a lot of local races, but, occasionally we would travel. We actually went to Daytona at one point and raced on the big track and the municipal stadium.
Oh, wow.
That was probably the farthest we ever went, but we did a little bit of traveling, but not a ton.
So you got bit by the racing bug at a very early age. You grew up with it literally as a part of your life.
Yeah, I mean, I've been at the races or in a race shop since I was very, very little, and, been doing it ever since.
Yeah. Let's go back to about 98 when you've been running the karts for a few years. What was the next step for you? What did you want to do?
I definitely wanted to get into modified or sportsman. At the time, you had to be 16 back then, and my birthday fell in the middle of the summer, so I ended up running basically a year in the four-cylinder bandit division down to Black Rock, or Outlaw Speedway as they call it nowadays.
Right.
Did that for a season, and then in 99 got a sportsman car and got right into the Dirt Sportsman Series.
That's a big step to take, to go from a four-cylinder production-style car up into a full-up race car that has twice the horsepower, and it's rear-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive, which a lot of the four-cylinder cars are.
Funny story about that. Obviously I ran a ton of go-kart races. Very quick steering, maneuver a lot. I got in the four-cylinder car like driving a turtle, and I really had a tough time. I mean, it's just so slow reacting. You turn in the wheel 100 times one way, 100 times the other way, always chasing it. And went through a whole season with that thing, and then I got the Sportsman. And I literally felt more comfortable in the Sportsman car the very first time I drove it than after a whole season of driving a four-cylinder.
I'm sure it was a lot more like the car with a quickener on the steering box and everything.
Yeah, other than the car rolling over so much and feeling like I was going to fall off the side of it, I think I'd have been better off going right from the go-kart right to the Sportsman car. I think that'd have been a lot easier for me.
And I'm going to safely assume that your dad was there pretty much every step of the way in this process.
Oh yeah, absolutely. with the go-karts, the four-cylinder, the Sportsman, everything. We built him right in his shop, and he was the biggest part of it.
We're talking with Matt Sheppard here tonight on Pole Position Raceway Live. So you ran how many years in the Sportsman?
2 years. 2 years in the Sportsman, and then went right to the 358s, and ran the 358s 2 or 3 years, and then up into the big blocks.
So this was pretty quick from the minute you got into the big open wheel car, just a 2 or 3 year transition, and you went from the small block right up to the big block, which is in this area the pinnacle of dirt track racing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice, quick but gradual stepping stone. We did the Sportsman a couple of years, and then got into the 358, and the first 2-3 years I ran predominantly 358s, but we did mix a few big block races in there here and there, and within the third or fourth year I was pretty much predominantly big block, mixing a few 358 races in here and there, and pretty much do that till this day.
Now, when you were running the Sportsman, I think this was back before the specialty engines kind of came into it, because the original idea of the Sportsman was if you had a street stock, you would take the motor out of that, usually a 350 Chevy, and you'd dump it into an old modified chassis with old modified tires. Eventually, the Sportsman class kind of morphed beyond that. Or were you part of that morphing process when you were in the division? Or
no, when I ran the Sportsman, they were still the open Sportsman with the 2-barrel carburetors, and definitely a lot more power than they have nowadays. You know what I mean? But it was kind of getting on the verge of. It was starting to get out of control cost-wise, and actions needed to be taken. But I was before the whole crate era.
So you step up into a 358 for the first time. The Sportsman being that 2-barrel with the more open motor like that, were you prepared to get into the 358? Or did you notice that much of a difference in the horsepower, the response of the car?
Yes, I think I was more prepared. I actually... pretty much my first full-blown 358 race was opening day at Fulton in 2001, and won the race. So, that was pretty remarkable. I remember I was driving for Steve Payne at the time, and he was, of course, running Canandaigua with his big block, and I was running Fulton with my small block, and called him up after the races and said, "Hey, we won tonight." And he's like, "Come on." I don't think he really believed me, but we did. So that was pretty cool.
So when did you decide to take the step up into the big block modified?
It was something I always dreamed of doing. It kind of, it started out as a part-time deal. I was still driving for Steve Payne at the time, and I was running my small block at Utica Rome, and I don't know where I was running on Fridays, but he gave me the opportunity to run a big block Saturday nights at Canandaigua, and just loved it. Fell right in love. That first year I can remember racing against Steve and Timmy McCready and Billy Decker and Bob McCready, and everybody was there back then. I think it was 2003 maybe. And I think we picked up a win third or fourth night out of the season, and it was a pretty stacked field for that.
Yeah, it seems like that's been a pattern with is that you've been able to not only get that initial success out of the box when you took the step up, but it didn't go away. It's been sustained every time you've stepped up the ladder to where you are now. Yeah,
I mean, it definitely seems like we've never really had any trouble getting a monkey off our back, so to speak. Every division won fairly quickly. Going right into even this year, kind of starting my own team, first go at it as a car owner, and we're sitting in victory lane second night out. We definitely make things happen quick, it seems like.
When you were making those steps up and you were winning and the success was coming, how much of that did you feel was your own responsibility as being a good driver, a smart driver, and how much of that was the equipment and the preparation of the equipment? Because you're one of these guys that, unlike maybe some people are used to seeing NASCAR racers and everything, they don't get their hands dirty. You've always got your hands in the race car. You're very, very involved. Even when you've driven for other people, you're extremely involved in the setup and pretty much every element of that car.
Yeah, I'd say it's a combination of everything. I'm definitely a student of racing. I try to pay attention to everything. I enjoy working on the cars. I do it every day. Right now I'm in the shop by myself every day building cars. And as well as, having great people, driving for great teams, great equipment, great engines. I mean, you got to have the whole package. But, when you can really put the whole package together between car, driver, equipment, paying attention to everything, the success definitely comes a lot quicker.
I want to talk a little bit about the process of you forming your own team over the winter months, the work and the process of that people may not be familiar with, and also about your incredible success in Florida, and then kind of take a look ahead as well into what you're going to be doing in the 2016 season, because I know you've got if you had a red mark on every day of the calendar that you're racing, there wouldn't be too many days in the summer without a red mark on them, that's for sure. So we're going to get into that when we come back. We're going to take a break and come back with more with Matt Sheppard here on Pole Position Raceway Live.
This is Pole Position Raceway Live.
Hi, I'm Tom Nolan from Nolan's Insurance Agency in Auburn. With motorcycle insurance coverage from Nolan's Insurance Agency, you could choose how much and what kind of coverage your bike needs at a reasonable price as well. We know how important it is to choose the right motorcycle insurance for you. With all the companies out there, we provide the information you will need to make the best decision. We're an independent agency, so we can do the shopping for you. When you choose Nolan's Insurance, we'll take care of the rest. Please call Nolan's Insurance Agency today at 255-0037 or visit our office right next to the YMCA. We're right in your backyard and still make house calls.
Nolan's Insurance, our family taking care of yours. Nolan's Insurance, we're right in your backyard.
For a quick quote, go to nolansinsurance.com.
You're making plans to retire and you'd like to downsize, but you'd also like to own your own home with your own floor plan and exterior on a single floor in a community setting with public utilities? You can have what you want at Quiet Country Estates, an age 55 and older manufactured home community in Waterloo with lots of space for privacy in the heart of the Finger Lakes between Seneca and Cayuga Lakes. Just a 10-minute drive to an excellent hospital, shopping, and outdoor recreation. And new models will be arriving in late March. Call Quiet Country Estates to find out more. 315-539-3336.
Remodel, repair, refresh, renew. Make your home a better house. Do your homework at the 2016 Central New York Home and Garden Show, March 17th to the 20th at the New York State Fairgrounds. Visit hundreds of exhibitors in 2 huge buildings, free parking and convenient shuttle service available. Visit hbrcny.com for more information and a discounted admission coupon. The Home and Garden Show, brought to you by Syracuse.com and the Post-Standard.
Pole Position Raceway Live.
One of the cool things that's happening during the month of March at participating Pole Position Raceway locations is if you win a race, you're going to get money off on your next race. Visit Pole Position Raceway, Destiny USA, Syracuse, Marketplace Mall, Rochester, Weldon Galleria, Buffalo to find out more about these and some other cool offers that are happening during the month of March and that happen every month at Pole Position Raceway. Welcome back to Pole Position Raceway Live. Paul Szmal, your host here tonight at the Pole Position Raceway at the Marketplace Mall in Henrietta, and we're spending some time chatting with Matt Sheppard, or Superman, as he's picked up the nickname. And yes, the Superman logo is on the race car this year. We know that to be true. And when we left off before the break, we were talking about you stepping up into the big block modified. You've been running that big block division for several years, tons of wins, championships, left, right, and center. This year, though, a new challenge presented itself when you decided to become your own car owner and start your own team. So let's go through that process. If I'm a guy who wants to start my own team and I want to be competitive, what's the first thing I need to do?
I'll tell you what.
But besides have a big wallet, I mean, that goes without saying. But.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I really have that big of a wallet. Biggest thing I did is just spend a lot of time on the phone. Racing's all about relationships. I made a lot of relationships throughout the year. You try not to burn any bridges. You never know. If you drive for one guy for a while, you never know when you might be back together. And basically, I mean, the first part was just on the phone a lot, talking to a lot of different people, trying to get a game plan together. Obviously, you need to find all the support you can get. Right from everything to cars, engines, trucks, trailers, wheels, tires, gears, tools, pit cards, shop, there's just so many pieces. And, fortunate enough for me, I was able to, pick up some good sponsors, some old sponsors, some new sponsors, a lot of old and new faces in this whole team environment. I got guys that I've driven for before, more than one of them that are helping me out with this deal. So I mean, I guess we could call it my team, but it's a big team. It's not my team. It's a bunch of us.
It was basically a massive networking effort.
It really, exactly. I mean, it wasn't just me saying, I need some sponsors, give me a bunch of cash, and I'm going to go out and buy all this stuff. I mean, there was a huge amount of logistics involved in trying to basically put a top-notch organization together with, there's got to be dozens of people helping out with this deal, and everybody plays their own little part in a big jigsaw puzzle.
And you mentioned things that a lot of people wouldn't normally think of right off the bat. Obviously, you're thinking the first thing is, okay, well, I got to have the car, and I got to have the tires, the motor, and body, and all this stuff and everything. But it's the sponsor relations, and then it's the other things that you mentioned that people would forget about. How am I going to get the car there? Where am I going to work on the race car? I need a place to do that. So you literally were starting from nothing and kind of building up into the organization that you and a lot of people have put together now.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, very fortunate. Former car owner Jeff Brownell, he stepped back up, helping out. He's got a beautiful shop. He's got, cherry pickers, engine tools, welders, stuff that you need, in this game. And, man, I couldn't imagine if you had to go out and just start from scratch and buy everything. I'd need to win the lottery twice. But, just a lot of great people have stepped up. Jeff, Tom Cullen, he's involved. We got one of his motors in a car going to Selinsgrove this weekend. My dad stepped up, tons of sponsors, Caprara's back with us. We got new sponsors. I mean, just a lot of people.
And of all the things, we're talking about the DIRTcar Series, DIRTcar Modified Racing. Well, the season doesn't start in April. You didn't have the luxury of, I'll wait till opening day at Canandaigua and I'll have everything together. No, you got to go to Florida during Speed Weeks to Volusia with a brand new team, brand new stuff. That the pressure cooker must have been screaming by the time you got all the logistics done just to get to Florida, much less get in the race car.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have to go to Florida, but it's something we kind of wanted to do just to, get the deal together, get down there and see where we're at, kind of evaluate the situation. We went down there with one car. We didn't bring a spare car with us, and, we were definitely more than pleased with the results coming home from Florida.
Now, I didn't ask you ever, when we were talking about your career getting started and everything, about nerves, getting nervous. But with a venture like this, where this is your baby, you go down to Florida for that first night and you're getting ready to hop in the race car and take it out for a hot laps for the first time. How nervous are you?
You know what? I would say it was more of a relaxed atmosphere in Florida this year. I mean, everybody was just kind of hanging out, having fun, very relaxed. Nobody to answer to but myself at the end of the day. If we went down there and ran good, great. If we didn't, I had to sit down and figure out why, and all the pressure was on me, So it was kind of a relaxed atmosphere. Everybody just had a great time, really enjoyed themselves.
But you do really have to worry about much of anything after the first night because you turn around night number 2, boom, you're in victory lane. The process that has been Matt Sheppard's racing career continues. Second night, brand new team. You're sitting in the winner's circle.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the winner's circle, but it was definitely a trying night. We did a lot of work. Me and the guys were busy all night long. I think we changed carburetors 3 times. We changed torsion bars. It was a thrash. The results paid off, but it didn't come easy. It was a lot of hard work, and thankful for me, I got the guys that are willing to put in that kind of work at the racetrack to get the job done.
And so you wind up with, I think it was 4 top 5 finishes, 1 win. You take home the Gator. You're the overall DIRTcar Nationals champion. You get a little bit of a breather before now. Last weekend you went to Georgetown, I assume driving for Norm Hansel, that you've had a relationship for the past few years with when you run in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Taking your own car to Selinsgrove this weekend. Break's over, man. It's go time.
Yeah, it really is. I got the first car together for Florida, and I was waiting until I got back from Florida to try and get a second car together, and I just picked up that car last Wednesday, and I'm trying to get it done to run it at Selinsgrove, so I've been very busy the last week or so, hammered down trying to get it done, and everything's looking pretty good. We should have it done for Saturday.
Al, what's on the agenda for 2016 for you in terms of, let's start with weekly competition, because I know you're going to chase the series, defending series champion. You're going to go out there and try to grab the brass ring on that again. What's the typical weekend docket going to look like for Superman Matt Sheppard this year?
We're definitely looking at going to Canandaigua on Saturday nights, Utica Rome on Sunday nights. Friday night, not 100% sure. Either Brewerton or, there's a lot of great things going on down to Outlaw Speedway now. A little bit closer than Brewerton, not much. But at the same time, we kind of told ourselves before the season if we got too busy, that Friday nights was going to be the first night we'd cut out of the schedule. Now, we plan on running Friday nights, but, we haven't committed to anything yet. That's something we're going to have to figure out here pretty soon. Obviously, going after that 5th Super Dirt Series championship, that's a number 1 goal. So we're going to follow the series with Saturday, Sunday, probably Friday, and then, I'd love to hit as many races with Norm as I can in the Southern tier. Whenever his schedule allows and my schedule allows and he wants to hook up, I'll jump in my car and go down there and meet him. As well as, with the ROC series being back on the Hoosier tires, that kind of fits into our wheelhouse. Big blocks and Hoosier tires, that's where we're comfortable. So, we'll hit as many of those races as we can too.
So it's going to be, like I said, there's not going to be too many days where there isn't going to be a race marked on the calendar for you as we head through the summer months. I
mean, as long as the cars are holding together and the equipment's holding together and I'm not too worn out to get out of bed in the morning, I guess I'm going to go race.
And we'll get through the season. We'll get to the month of October. Super Dirt Week, realistically, site TBA. It's going to be one of 2 places. It's either going to be at the new Central New York Raceway Park or the bailout that's been publicly announced, which most of us in the racing community knew for months, is going to be at the Oswego Speedway. How much do you want to win Super Dirt Week, and how much does it gnaw at you that you didn't get one at the original location?
I did get one at the original
that's right. I do stand corrected. You did get one, but I know you've been close the past couple of years, and once you get one of those, you definitely want more than one.
Yeah, I mean, you want to win it every year, but thank God we did get that one there.
That was about, 2009,
I think.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
Last year was obviously a heartbreaker to be leading the thing, sitting in pretty good shape and have an alternator and battery go bad and have the motor quit running. That's unexpected. Yeah. Really wanted to win that last one. It was looking pretty good there for a while, but, you never know at Syracuse. But I guess, it's done, it's over with. We're looking forward to a new venue now, and just as much as we wanted to win the last one at Syracuse, we're going to want to win the first one at wherever it ends up this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, how cool would it be for you as a driver to say that you won Super Dirt Week if it was held at the Oswego Speedway, which hasn't hosted a dirt race since the place was built as a dirt track?
Yeah, I mean, especially if it only happens there once. You know, to be the only one to win it at Syracuse would be even more important. But you know, it's Super Dirt Week. You want to win it no matter where it is. Obviously, it was special at Syracuse. Like I said, thankful to be able to win it. Won all 3 divisions there. That was kind of cool. But definitely, you know, looking forward to this season.
Any desire to try something beyond the big block modified? I mean, 410 sprint car racing, 360 sprint car racing are prevalent. Late models are now a national phenomenon, like they were back in the days of the NDRA in the early 80s and maybe even beyond that. Are you happy with where you are? Do you have the desire to maybe go out and try to branch out and do something different if the opportunity comes up?
Yeah, I mean, it'd have to be a great opportunity. It's so hard to compete at the level that I like to compete at with any distractions. I mean, I try to focus on what I'm doing 100% of the time to bring my best game to the table, and I'm not going to say no, I'm not open to other situations, but it'd have to be an awfully good situation.
Dream race that you'd like to be in that you've never been in? Any race in the world, what would it be?
Oh, man, I don't know. I definitely think some of them late model races are pretty cool, like, you know, the World 100 and the Dream, and, you know, the sprint cars, the Knoxville Nationals, Kings Royal. I mean, I'm a dirt guy through and through, and I do envy some of them races. I'd love to race a modified in Knoxville. Can't wait to get back to Eldora this year.
Oh, yeah.
Back to Williams Grove again. You know, some real famous dirt tracks in the country. But I would, you know, like to get to some of them places that, like Knoxville, and just some of the famous tracks that you know, the technology the way it is nowadays, you can watch the late model and sprint car highlights on your phone at all these cool tracks, and I watch them and I think, man, that looks like an awful cool racetrack to race at, and I'd like to run there, and find myself saying that a lot.
Well, I think what we need to do is maybe we need to convince DIRTcar that they need to go run a race at Knoxville. Get that under your belt. I would pay good money to see that. That would be a fun place to watch a modified race. Before I let you get out of here, I know you've talked about some of the people that have helped you out. You mentioned one of your longtime sponsors that has been with you in the form of the FX Cabrera car companies. Let's give a shout out to some of the other people that are supporting the effort this year.
Yeah, I mean, back in the Bicknell car again, CC Performance under the hood, Integra Racing Shocks, been with them a long time. You know, got FX Cabrera on the car, LFR chassis, Seneca Auto Sales and Service, Finishing Touch Construction, CNR Enterprises, Mohawk Northeast. I know I got to be forgetting some of them. Westmoreland Golf Club, Extreme Lubricants, got Snyder Web Design. You know, it's a mouthful. There's a lot of them. I'm sure for Almost Pit Stop. Man, I need a list of these, don't I, babe? Just a lot of great people.
Yeah. Beth Ann just came back, which means now I can officially release you so you guys can go have dinner, have an enjoyable evening. Good luck this season. I'm sure you're going to do great like you always do, and who knows, you know, maybe at the end of the season we could not only be calling you another DIRTcar champion, but you were sniffing at that NASCAR All-American Series championship last year, running you to run with the NASCAR sanction again. How cool would it be to have both of those in your hat?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get after it and see what happens here. We're excited. We're ready to get going. It's been a long but busy but stressful but quick winter, and race season's just about here, and we're ready to get going.
And if you feel like taking a field trip, you can watch Matt in competition at that Ferris Mowers Race of Champions Dirt Tour opener Saturday at Selinsgrove in Pennsylvania. Thanks for stopping by, man. Much appreciated.
All right. Thanks for having me, Paul.
We'll take one more commercial break, and when we come back, we'll get ready to put the wraps on this week's edition. We'll tell you more about the series that is going on, and also a little preview of what's coming up next week here on the program. You're listening to Pole Position Raceway Live.
This is Pole Position Raceway Live.
Bianchi Auto Body presents What to Do If You Get in an Accident. First, remember what's important, that no one is hurt. Second, deciding to go through insurance or pay out of pocket. To decide that, you must find a body shop you trust. Ask friends and family who they use. It's probably been Bianchi Auto Body. Get an estimate and discuss your insurance options with Bianchi Auto Body. They have the insurance expertise you need. Brought to you by Bianchi Auto Body, serving Auburn and all the Finger Lakes region. Lots more information available from BianchiAuto.com or call 315-253-2979.
This month only, pay no sales tax at Carpet House. That's right. Carpet House will pay the sales tax on your purchase of carpet, vinyl, luxury vinyl, laminate, area rugs, and installation. See store for details. Snap together luxury vinyl, just $3.99 a square foot, plus 0% interest for 12 months for qualified buyers. Flooring made easy with the name you trust and no sales tax. Carpet House, Grant Avenue next to McDonald's in Auburn and mycarpethouse.com.
Flooring made easy, the name you trust is Carpet House.
St. Joseph's School is having its Ham and Turkey Raffle Saturday, March 19th, 6 till 10 p.m. at the St. Alphonsus Parish Center in Auburn. Turkeys, hams, kibasas, and door prizes raffled every 10 minutes. The event raises money for St. Joseph's School. Admission, snacks, beverages, and food free. For more information, contact St. Joseph's School, 315-253-8327. Forget winter chicken dinner. It's turkeys, hams, and more at the St. Joseph's School's raffle. March 19th, St. Alphonsus Parish Center, 85 East Genesee Street, Auburn.
Superior Stroke Care. It's about time. At Krause, it's about delivering stroke care faster than any other hospital in the region. It's about our EMS partners who assess your condition and communicate with our emergency team. It's about our specialists who take action quickly, because when you're having a stroke, every moment matters. It's about neurosurgeons, board certified and fellowship trained, using the most progressive stroke rescue technology. Superior Stroke Care. When it's about time, say, take me to Krause.
Pole Position Raceway Live.
And welcome back to Pole Position Raceway Live here at the Pole Position Raceway location at the Marketplace Mall in Henrietta. Don't forget, we also have our locations at the Destiny USA Complex in Syracuse, as well as the Walden Galleria in Buffalo. You can go to polepositionraceway.com. That's polepositionraceway.com for a complete listing of hours of operation. Find out more about everything from just walking in the front door and enjoying racing, or getting a group of friends together for a party or racing experience. Memberships are a great idea, too. If you race at a Pole Position Raceway location more than twice during a year, you really need to buy a membership. It gives you some extra goodies, and it saves you money in the long run. As a matter of fact, the more you race, the more money you're going to save. And believe me, if you've never been here, once you get the thrill of being behind the wheel of one of these electric-powered race carts, you're never, ever going to give it up. It is that much fun. And speaking of which, the Pole Position Raceway Live series, the reason why we're doing these radio broadcasts and podcasts for the next 5 weeks, has kicked off tonight. And the first main event that was held here in Rochester at the just before we came on the air at 7 o'clock was won by Caleb Schnell. Alfie Vaughn was second. Chris Langswager was third. Ronald Schultz was fourth. Nick Whalen fifth. It was Derek Welker second. Alfie Vaughn third. Jeff Abbott fourth. Chris Langswager fifth. Billy Vaughn sixth. Ronald Schultz seventh. Victor eighth. And Nick Whalen in the number 9 position. Now, those drivers have now earned points toward the berths that are available in the championship, which will be coming up 5 weeks from tonight at the Pole Position Raceway at Destiny USA in Syracuse. Now, the way the format works for the Pole Position Raceway Live series is the live racing events happen between 6 and 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night. If you're going to run for the point championship, well, you purchase your right to be in the points championship and have your points tabulated. Then you go out and pay for your races. You run a couple of qualifiers, try to get the best lap time to seed you into the main event. And then every hour there is a main event for that particular hour. So there's a 6 o'clock hour main, a 7 o'clock hour main, and an 8 o'clock hour main event. When we get done with the 4 weeks of racing at each of the 3 locations, the top 3 in points from each of the locations are the ones who will advance and move on to the championship round that'll be at Destiny USA in Syracuse. They will race for the Upstate Championship with a $500 cash prize going to the winner. And by the way, while the racers are racing, they're earning rewards points towards free races. The more that they race and the more laps that they run, the more points they earn, the more rewards they're getting. That's something new that was added into the Pole Position Raceway Live series this year. A great way to reward the racers who are coming in, spending their money and being a part of the activities by giving them the opportunity to earn free races while they're in competition. In addition, each location in each hour is doing a B main for the drivers that don't crack the top 9 or top 10 to get into the main event for that particular hour. The B mains also have points awarded, and a number of great local establishments and businesses at each location are supporting the Pole Position Raceway Live series through providing different levels of prizes and gift certificates and freebies and goodies, including stuff from Coca-Cola and Monster Energy. Last time around when we did the Pole Position Raceway Live series, we gave those away as part of a text-to-win promotion. This time around, you can actually come to one of the locations, watch the racing, and you may very well walk away with the prize. You can also do the pick the winner, the fantasy pick'em as we like to call it. That's available every Tuesday night at a Pole Position Raceway Live location. That's another way you can earn yourself a decent little prize and walk away with a little something extra if you can correctly get the fantasy pick'em right. Hey, you may very well win a prize, but in order to win those, you have to be present, which means you can come out here to one of the Pole Position Raceway locations and watch the events unfold. And by the way, it doesn't cost a penny to come and watch the racing activity. So if you're jonesing for some racing, go on out on a Tuesday night. Again, Destiny USA in Syracuse, Marketplace Mall, Henrietta, or at the Walden Galleria in Buffalo, every Tuesday night from 6 until 9 p.m. Now, coming up next week here on Pole Position Raceway Live, we're going to be joined by multi-time Oswego Speedway track champion and former winner of the Budweiser International Classic, a guy that got his career started for a long time running dirt cars before he switched over to super modifieds, and that's Otto Sitterly. Upcoming weeks on the program, we're going to be joined by Eric Rudolph when we're in Buffalo. Our second visit to Syracuse, we'll be visiting with Lightning Larry White. And also, we'll be joined by Billy Colton from Troyer Race Cars, our next visit to Rochester, coming up here in a few weeks. Really looking forward to talking with all these people. And again, a huge thanks to Matt Sheppard, Superman Sheppard, joining us here on the broadcast this evening. Now, as far as racing activity this weekend goes, we mentioned the fact that NASCAR is back in action this weekend at the Auto Club Speedway. If you want to go out and see some racing in person, make the field trip to Sealands Grove for that Race of Champions, Ferris Motors Race of Champions Modified Tour opener. But if you can't afford to make a road trip to a race, the next best thing is to go to a race car show. And there's one happening at the Finger Lakes Mall in Auburn this weekend, the annual Finger Lakes Speed World, now being promoted by Paradise Speedway announcer and PR guy Jim Olin. They'll have a tribute to the Mooney Mile and a lot of fantastic activities, including remote control car racing, a remote control car demolition derby. Yes, I said a remote control car demolition derby. That's being put together by our friend Chris Marquardt with Smashed Empire. That's going to be on the docket for Sunday. It happens during regular mall hours, Saturday and Sunday at the Finger Lakes Mall in Auburn. Definitely worth checking out. There are going to be some great race cars, some fantastic displays, some live entertainment. Going to be a great weekend of activity. And by the way, thanks as well to everybody for attending the annual Motorsports Expo at the Center of Progress building at the State Fairgrounds in Syracuse this past weekend. Lots of people raving about how fantastic the show was this year. Extremely busy, lots of activity. Lots of people are looking forward to the start of the 2016 racing season here in the Finger Lakes region and all over the northeastern United States as well. So don't forget, if you're looking for a little racing of your own, you can go to Pole Position Raceway, Destiny USA Syracuse, Marketplace Mall, Henrietta, or Walden Galleria, or Buffalo. Anytime, arrive and drive. You can buy a membership, race a lot more. You can buy racing experiences with your friends. You can have your kid's birthday party at one of the locations. Maybe you have a business that's looking for a good team building exercise. Hey, this is one of the great places to do it. Maybe you're looking to have a little sort of something special for the business. Maybe it's an incentive party for good performance by your employees. And while you're tired of doing the same old, well, let's just order a pizza and eat it in the conference room. Been there, done that. Now is a cool way to do it here at Pole Position Raceway, where you can combine the food with a great racing experience. It's a one-of-a-kind deal that you will definitely enjoy. That's going to wrap up this week's edition of Pole Position Raceway Live. Again, our thanks to Matt Sheppard for joining us here on the program this evening, and thanks to our producer back in studio, Felicia Baker. My name is Paul Szmal. We'll talk to you next week from the Pole Position Raceway at Destiny USA in Syracuse, when our guest will be Otto Sitterly, Oswego Speedway track champion and winner of the Budweiser International Classic. Thanks for joining us tonight. This has been Pole Position Raceway Live.